In the high mountains of Colorado, where there are no city lights and only trees and pebbles surround you, a small village remains, enveloped in stories that no one can explain. The people living there, though they have resided through many generations, keep secrets that are not easily shared. One of these is the story of the Black Wind. Clara, a young girl from New York, decided to leave the bustling city life behind to find peace in nature. She chose a small house by the lake, where all she needed was a quiet space to write and rediscover herself. But, as with everything in life, nothing ever goes as planned. One autumn night, when the moon was high and a thick mist covered the surface of the lake, Clara heard a strange sound from afar. It wasn't the sound of wild animals or the wind rustling through the trees. It was a breathing sound, heavy and labored, as if some creature was hiding in the darkness. She couldn't explain the eerie feeling it gave her, but it sent chills down her spine. Even when she tried to convince herself it was just her imagination, the sound of breathing didn't fade. Every night it grew closer, as though someone was watching her from the shadows. One night, Clara decided she wouldn't give up. She took a flashlight and ventured outside, feeling both frightened and curious. She walked along the path leading down to the lake, where the light from her flashlight could not dispel the darkness. The breathing sound continued, now louder than ever. Then, in a moment when Clara turned back to check, she saw a shadowy figure standing in the mist. Who was it? A person? Or something else? Fear froze her in place, but then a soft voice whispered from the darkness, "Don't be afraid, Clara." The voice was familiar, yet unrecognizable. Clara couldn't speak. Her feet felt as though they were cemented to the ground. And before she could understand what was happening, the figure moved closer, seemingly without disturbing the air around it. "You've arrived," the voice spoke again, now almost a whisper in her ear. She turned and saw, despite the darkness surrounding them, that the figure's eyes shone brightly like stars. Clara felt a strange power emanating from the figure, a force that words couldn't describe. But the strangest feeling was that it felt like she had met this person before, though she could not remember when. "Who are you?" Clara couldn't hold back the question. "You will know when the time comes," the figure answered. "But first you must understand one thing. What you seek will find you." The answer left Clara perplexed. She didn't understand and couldn't fathom that there was another world hidden within this village, a world that she had never known, but that was waiting for her to explore. She couldn't take her eyes off the eyes that glowed like stars, and in that brief moment, Clara knew that her life would never be the same again. The next day, Clara couldn't stop thinking about the figure she had encountered in the night. She went to a small cafe in the village and struck up a conversation with the owner, an elderly woman with a kind appearance. The woman looked at Clara with an understanding gaze and said, "You've met it, haven't you? The Black Wind." Clara asked in surprise, "What is the Black Wind?" The elderly woman paused for a moment, then gently spoke. "The Black Wind is not a human, nor a creature. It is a spirit that was forgotten and trapped within the winds of these mountains. Those who encounter it must face a challenge that cannot be avoided, and not everyone survives the challenge." Clara felt a chill run down her spine. What challenge? The elderly woman sighed. "It is the challenge of truth. When you face the Black Wind, you will have to confront the deepest secrets of your soul. Things you never wanted to know, but things you need to know." Each day, Clara began to observe the strange occurrences around the village. The nights when she couldn't sleep because of the breathing sounds, the shadowy figures passing through the darkness. She felt as though she was living in a nightmare with no way out. Then, one night, when Clara was walking along the path around the lake, she encountered the figure once more. The Black Wind stood there, no longer blurry but clearly visible before her. This time, Clara was no longer afraid. She approached it, her eyes filled with determination. "I understand now," she said. "I am ready to face the truth." The Black Wind said nothing, only stared at her with those mysterious eyes. A gust of cold wind swept by, and Clara felt herself being drawn into a different space, an intangible realm where there was only darkness and the whispering voices of the past. She began to see strange images, memories that she did not recognize, yet they felt familiar. These were memories from past lives, things she had done, mistakes she couldn't undo. And in that moment, Clara realized that her life was not just about what she saw in the present, but about everything she had lived through in past lifetimes. The black wind was not an enemy. It was a guide, helping Clara to see her own mistakes so that she could find peace in her soul. When Clara awoke, she felt as if she had been reborn. She returned to the house by the lake, no longer afraid, but feeling more at peace and understanding life more than ever before. What she had gone through was just a part of a long journey, and in the end, she had found her own path. The black wind no longer appeared, but Clara knew that the lessons it had brought would stay with her for the rest of her life.